So what is your view on the European Union? And I could have said in the introduction that your story is even more complicated in that you are a German academic, if you don't mind me saying.
Well, I have Irish citizenship, so...
and you are a member of the Royal Irish Academy, but you also have a deep love of this region, your kind of second home.
Yes.
Here. So I'll be curious, why did that happen? And what is your perception, even a personal perception, of the EU? On the one hand, you live the dream that Europe represents, the four freedoms, right? Like you work, you are based in Dublin, you spend a great deal of time here, so you are an EU citizen, and these are one of the privileges of EU citizenship. And yet I sense that they are also somewhat reserved in your enthusiasm towards Europe.
Yes, I mean, Europe is, politically speaking and socially speaking, a hybrid. And it has been, and I predict it will always be, at least for the foreseeable future. I don't see the United States of Europe, sorry.
So it's neither desirable nor
I don't think it's desirable.
doable.
I mean, the idea that you can have, let's say, one, let's say, social welfare system from, let's say, not the Urals now, but, let's say from the Polish borders or from the Baltic borders to Portugal, and have one system that applies to everyone, I don't think that will ever work. And probably, I think most people know. But there is a Brussels-centric view, short of another expression, which would like to see more uniformity.
Yes.
And it's an underlying cause. And sometimes that can have good consequences.
Yes.
So, of course, if the argument is we want all the best medical service that we can imagine, possibly for free, and then we pick up an example and say we should all become like this. I mean, in a way, I sympathize with that.
But who will finance that?
Yeah, that's the question. And we entered at different stages with different histories. There are different also national health systems that work maybe okay now, and which maybe could be in a mess. But I mean, the nice thing about Europe is, I mean, it's already, there is some acknowledgement of mutual rights in terms of, look, if you fall sick while being away and you're not in your home country, wherever that may be, and you're traveling around and you have an accident or an illness, and you can go with your European security card to any hospital and without paying cash. I mean, I think that is an achievement.
Yes.
Okay, how far that goes, I mean, then you could spin it further. You say, well, but I have a rare disease and, do I get the same treatment? And, and some of that is happening, but, to a limited extent. But think about other things that are a little bit more complex, social welfare systems, not just medical systems. Very hard to talk about minimal income. Some states, European states, are now experimenting with some of that. Others not. Others are more conservative. Elections always produce different outcomes.
Yes.
It's mess.
Yeah.
It's messy. But
But it works.
To a certain extent, yeah. To a certain extent, and some things work better than others. Yeah. So.
And how do you see yourself? An Irishman?
Irish-German background with an affection or love for the Basque country. We've been going for about 40 years, where I have a second or third home, I should say. How do I see myself? Yeah, European, which is my first identification. Not so sure. There are also certain... let's try to conceptualize in a different way. So I think there are universal questions, and there are particularistic moments, and human beings are always a combination of the two, and they will never dissolve into each other. So I like some of the particularisms of certain regions. I don't want them to be uniform. Yeah, I don't want to have the same shop and the same food all over the world. I like those regional components. It's the same with football, right? I mean, what's so great do you think it's a great development in the current European football system and with FIFA that you have like clubs where they're top of the league, but there's one player maybe, if at all, who was born in the city from where the team is from. What's so great about this?
It's the single market.
Yeah.
It's the power of the money. So, but what you said is captured in the EU logo, united in diversity. But you did tell me, and that should perhaps be our last question, that there is one intriguing thing about Bilbao, that it is an athletic city, and there is a twist to that story.
Yeah, there's a twist of the story. I'm talking about European roots here. Athletic Bilbao. So never, if you ever land in Bilbao airport, come into the city, you want to strike a conversation with the taxi driver, don't ever ask the taxi driver how Atletico Bilbao is doing. It's the wrong question.
Okay.
He will throw you out of your taxi. It's Athletic Bilbao. Athletic with TH, right? And it's named after, because there was a long relationship in the late 19th century developing. Bilbao knew the gentlemen's clubs. They copied England. It wasn't Spain. They weren't, Basque entrepreneurs. Bilbao wasn't looking at Madrid. They're looking at London. And they see gentlemen's clubs, they see football clubs, and hence, over a couple of crucial development of mass sports, let's say towards the end of the 19th century, beginning of the 20th century, when mass sports like football developed, they decide to establish their own football team, and they call it Athletic Bilbao. And the trainer, the coach, is still called the Mister.
I see.
Yeah? He's not called whatever.
The Spanish version.
The Spanish version of it. So, interesting developments. It's Athletic Bilbao.
Okay.
With TH and C and not O at the end.
Anglophiles.
And
a nation of
Anglophiles, I don't know how far that goes today. But still, I think the UK still has a great attraction for many people from the Basque Country. It's one of the first places people go to. They go to London, right? Then go to Madrid.
Truly cosmopolitan. London, that is no longer a part of the European Union.
But part of Europe.
Part of Europe, forever. Professor Andreas Hess, thank you for your time. Thanks for the interview.
Thanks for...